I want to discuss the signs and events that surround the return of the Lord. I'll probably break this into multiple videos, so be looking for those later. This first video will be on the rapture. The rapture is the next big event to take place in God's timeline. And I understand different people have different beliefs about the rapture. I'm not here to argue or slam others. I just simply want to explain to you why I believe the way I do. I personally believe in a pre-tribulation rapture, which means that the rapture will take place before the 7-year tribulation. Now, some people argue and they say the word rapture is not even in the King James Version Bible. While the word rapture may not be, the concept and teaching is. Just like the word Trinity, it's not in the King James Version, but the Bible clearly teaches it. The word rapture comes from the expression to be caught up in 1 Thessalonians 4. The Greek word for caught up is harpazo. It means to be snatched out suddenly and forcefully taken. The Latin version uses the word rapturo, which is why we call it rapture. So, if you think the idea of a rapture in God suddenly taking somebody to heaven is a crazy thing, think about it this way. Enoch was supernaturally taken up into heaven with God in Genesis chapter 5. Elijah was caught up in an angelic whirlwind of fire and taken up into heaven. Imagine seeing that. Paul even speaks about a man that was caught up into heaven in 2 Corinthians. And in the future tribulation, the two witnesses will be taken up supernaturally in front of the whole earth. So, as you can see, God has done this many times before on some level. It's not really a strange idea to embrace if you think about it. But some people get hateful and they'll tell you you're not even a Christian if you believe in the rapture. So just for argument's sake, let's say I'm totally wrong about the rapture. Let's say we have all misunderstood the scriptures and there is no rapture. Okay, that doesn't change the fact that Jesus is still coming. And that doesn't mean that I'm not saved or that God hates me. Do you really think God would say, well, you didn't know exactly when I was coming, so off to hell with you? No. After all, the Bible calls the rapture a mystery, and it even says that no man will know the exact day or hour. Not even the angels in heaven know. So if the angels don't even know the exact time, I don't think God's going to send us to hell because we possibly misunderstood His arrival time. Now, the book of Revelation gives detailed descriptions of the events of the 7-year tribulation. But if you look at the overall theme, you'll notice something. The first 3 chapters are all about Jesus' dire warnings to the 7 churches, well, all churches really, and He continually commands them to repent and live faithful, righteous lives, or there will be consequences. Now keep in mind, these were church folks, not heathens, that He kept urging to repent. But then all of a sudden in chapter 4, after 3 chapters talking about the church, the entire theme changes. The church is not mentioned anymore until the end of the book, after all the 7 years is complete. Now, how strange is that? If the church were here during the tribulation, don't you think He would have at least mentioned them? The apple of God's eye. So, what happened? Chapter 4, verse 1, everything changes. John says, after this, meaning after the church. He begins to give the details of the 7-year tribulation for the next 14, 15 chapters. Now, here is the part you really need to listen to if you're planning on going in the rapture. The obvious conclusion after reading Jesus' warnings to the church is this. The rapture is a blessing and a reward for the faithful and the righteous of His church. Not everyone that has his name on the church membership roll is saved and going in the rapture. Jesus Himself tells us this much while He's warning the churches. He told the church of Thyatira to repent or He'd throw them in the great tribulation. He told the lukewarm church, He said He'd spew them out of His mouth if they didn't repent. But listen to this one. He told the church of Sardis to repent or they'd miss His return when He came like a thief in the night. But He also told them only those who had not defiled their garments would be worthy to escape. The rapture is not about Jesus coming for a certain denomination or a race. He's coming for the faithful and the righteous, those who keepeth His garments and hath not defiled them. When God has always spared the righteous and the faithful from His wrath. His wrath has always been reserved for His enemies, not His righteous children. In the days of Noah and Lot, God poured out His wrath, but He removed the righteous and the faithful first. Notice how few people were removed. Out of the whole earth, only 8 people in Noah's day, and only 3 in Lot's. Luke 21:36 also warns that we need to watch and pray that we may be counted worthy to escape His wrath. Now, if there was no escape from His wrath in the rapture, then why does He even instruct us to pray for it? Someone asked me, wouldn't a sudden disappearance of all these people be noticeable? Yes, that's the point. The rapture itself is a sign of the second coming. I believe immediately after the rapture, millions will immediately realize what has happened, and they will finally find time to repent. And these will probably be the great multitude that will be saved during the tribulation. But as Matthew 24:44 says, therefore be you also ready, for in such an hour you think not, the Son of Man cometh. God bless.